In telling the story of the people in New Orleans who prayed to be rescued during Hurricane Katrina as the waters rose all around them, you say to your readers, do you have the courage to admit the obvious? These poor people died talking to an imaginary friend. That's brutal. That's awfully harsh, don't you think?
You know, what I think is brutal is the status quo. I think what is terrifying and really such an agent of suffering in this world is that we don't teach people how to grieve because we don't think it's possible. We teach people that in the place of grief, we teach them we encourage this fantasy life, that death is not a problem, that death doesn't exist, that you get everything you want after you die, that there's an omniscient travel agent looking out for you. And we then encourage people not to notice all of the desolating evil that is going on in the world, which this travel agent should be preventing. I mean, you know, we talk about every person who survived Hurricane Katrina came out of that experience claiming that God had saved them. I mean, that is just the most common response of religious people in times of emergency. You know, if they're not dead, they were saved by God. Well, God didn't save all the other people. I mean, the infants who got drowned in their cribs and the old people who had to, you know, seek refuge in their attics and were drowned there. I mean, these people were good people. That they died through no fault of their own. And the problem with religious mythology is that it dampens our compassion. It diminishes the reason to be compassionate for other people because you have some sense that this is all part of God's plan and this is not an accident and maybe those people deserved what they got. No, there are people who are just fantastically unlucky, and it is our responsibility to help them and to feel compassion for their circumstance, genuine compassion that motivates us to take their suffering as an object of our concern. And so what I argue about religion is that, yes, people do good things in the name of religion. There are Christian ministers who go to Africa to help people. But there are secular people who go to Africa to help people as well. And they go purely to help people, not to spread their dogmas, and not because they think the creator of the universe wants them to do it. And I think that is a much more noble basis for compassionate behavior. And it's time we recognized it. I mean, to believe that you have to go to Africa to help people because you're spreading the gospel of Christ is not as good as believing you have to go to Africa to help people because it is unacceptable to you that you are as lucky as you are and they are as unlucky as they are.
But I'm not sure they're mutually exclusive. I mean, is it fair to paint the religious person who goes to Africa as someone who's merely trying to gain points for the hereafter? Compassion is not the sole province of the non-believer, I think.
Well, that's absolutely true, and I'm not insinuating that. I mean, compassion is, we are hardwired for compassion, and compassion precedes religious instruction, certainly, and on some level it probably precedes our humanity. I mean, there's evidence in our primate cousins and in other higher mammals that there is a concern for the suffering of other creatures that is evidence there. For instance, mice show more distress at the suffering of other mice that are their familiars than strange mice. So this is an emergent property of our biology, I think. And obviously religious people have compassion as well. But I mean, to take this example of going to Africa to help people a little further, the problem is, you know, we have people moved by compassion, and yet religious people have their compassion channeled within the service of their religious dogmas. So you have ministers in sub-Saharan Africa where 3 to 4 million people die every year from AIDS, preaching the sinfulness of condom use in villages where the only information about condom use comes from the ministry. You have Christian ministers preaching the necessity of believing in the divinity of Christ in regions where millions of people, literally millions of people, have died from interreligious conflict, but mostly between Christians and Muslims. This, on both counts, I argue in my book, is genocidal stupidity. I mean, this really is getting people killed. These dogmas really do spread ignorance and death. And we're not criticizing this behavior to the degree that we should, because religion is thought to be necessary to us, ennobling, our true refuge, and a true engine of moral behavior. It's not. It gives people bad reasons to be good where good reasons are actually available.